To Sister Circle Live. Our next guest has penned hits for vocal powerhouses like Gladys Knight, Patti LaBelle, and she's earned 6 Grammy nominations as a solo artist with her own amazing gifts.
My God, now with 7 solo albums and 10 Billboard chart-topping singles behind her, she's back in the studio, yay, working on a new project. Please welcome down to the circle, the one and only Ann Nesby. Yes.
Thank you, thank
Miss
you.
Ann, you just look beautiful today.
Thank you so much.
I'm telling you, you're so sharp out here. I don't know what these people are going to do with you. You're just so fine sitting here on this couch. And not only are you that, you're one of my favorite singers of all time. I just absolutely love your voice and spirit. You're a singer, songstress, a singer, songwriter, actress, and amazing cook as well. Is there anything that you cannot do, Miss Ann?
Well, I love to cook. And I know that I got that from my mother. Country family, Cajun blood, so I have to do all that. My father's family, New Orleans, and so I have to do all the gumbos and the greens and cornbread and black-eyed peas. So everything in you got to come out.
Right. So you have a casserole that you're trying to get on shelves in stores right now?
I do.
Oh, that's going to be good.
And in fact, it's going to be going into one of the Chicago school systems. It's called the Miss Ann's Soulful Casserole. And it's a whole meal in a pan with black-eyed peas, turkey, and I wanted to have everything, trying to cook something for my boys before I went to the studio, and I wanted them to have a balanced meal.
All of the food groups.
So I gave all the food groups in one pan, and they felt like it would be a good hit for
that's awesome.
Commercial and giving them a whole meal.
Yes, with some flavor. Yeah, did you bring us a sample?
I didn't, but you know what? I'll bring it to you next time.
Oh, sounds like a plan to me.
I like next time.
Yes. Well, speaking of hits, you've worked with the who's who of both gospel and secular. And my question is this: okay, who is your favorite collaboration, and who have you yet to work with that you would like to work with, outside of me?
I'll tell you. I'll tell you. I think one of my favorite collaborations was with Luther Vandross.
Oh, yes.
And then on the gospel side, I'd have to say Mother Shirley Caesar.
Oh, yeah.
We collaborated in Fighting Temptations.
Yes, ma'am.
And with Luther, I collaborated with him. We came back off the Power of Love tour with Luther and Sinbad. So I've been blessed. I can say that I've had an opportunity to work with so many. I missed having an opportunity to work with the Queen of Soul, who was one of my favorites. But I definitely look forward to working with a young group of women, because I want to redo some of the older songs that really brought in thoughtful and thought-provoking and loving songs, because when I write the message of love. Even though the music changes, I try to keep the message. So I have an idea in mind to have young women like you to come on and do songs that our grandmothers sang, and to understand where the music really derived from, with the same message with a new beat.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm looking forward to doing that right now.
And speaking of positive lyrics and lyrics of love, Sounds of Blackness, one of my favorite groups. Talk to us about how that was incorporated and who was behind it, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Talk to us about how that came about, how you became a part of Sounds of Blackness.
Absolutely. I was doing theater with Donald Lawrence, just coming off Broadway, doing a show called Sing Hallelujah. And when I finished that, I decided I was going to move to Atlanta, and I'd never had a fur coat. And then God blessed me with a fur coat.
Won't he do it?
And I said, Lord, I don't need no fur coat in Atlanta. He said, but you will in Minnesota.
Oh, wow.
So, I was visiting my sister there in Atlanta, and I knew Gary Hines, had been family friends with him for years. And they were in the midst of doing the Christmas show that we went on to sing and garner a Grammy for. When I came into rehearsal, Gary said, this is one of our friends. She's going to stand in for the mother's role.
Stand in. That's what he thought.
I stood in and I sang, and he said, the rest is history. Here's Sounds of Blackness. Did the show, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, who have always been a part of the Sounds of Blackness family, as Sounds of Blackness would be the opening song that sang the national anthem, the Black national anthem for affairs in the community, and Flight Time would be the party band afterwards. So when Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis had an opportunity to do their own label, Sounds of Blackness was the first project they released because they wanted to glorify God for giving them that great opportunity. And I just happened to be in the mix, being in the right place at the right time.
Look at God. You were the right woman for the job, too, I tell you.
Speaking of, you are working on a new project. You're honoring musical genius, Mr. Big Jim Wright.
Absolutely.
So tell us about this new Get Ready album.
Absolutely. Big Jim Wright, for those of you that know him or remember him, know he was a fun-loving, very, very talented genius. Big Jim and I were writing partners, writing for Patti LaBelle, Sounds of Blackness, Gladys Knight. We were doing a project. He wanted to do a project for me, reminiscent to my very first solo project with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. But his untimely passing in September, we were finished with the project with the exception of me putting my vocals on and maybe a few horn things. So I decided to go on and finish this project and to allow people to understand that he was more than just a musician. He was a producer. He was producing for Mariah Carey and so many others. He would produce the television shows, Monique, Sunday Best, and we wanted to carry on the legacy of Big Jim Wright. And I wanted to finish the songs that he wrote because they're so prolific and they deal with such an element of the social times that we're going through right now, especially the one song entitled Get Ready. And it matches right into what we've done with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, Volume 1, and doing Heaven Must Be Like This, Jimmy Jam, and they were able to capture Big Jim's voice along with Lauren Evan. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis are going to do a volume of records with megastar artists.
Well, Miss Ann, we are so happy that you came here
Thank you.
Sister Circle. You are always welcome, of course, and just legendary. Thank you so much.
Thank
and to keep
you.
up with Miss Ann and find out where she'll be next, follow her on Instagram at Ann Nesby.